before we start making money. That's what we are not taught very young, that identifying your talent. At school, they will give you 15 courses, 15 subjects to read. Is that, at the end of the day, is that what you are doing? Not at all. They are not partnering your what talent to the actual, to your capacity and your ability. And at the same time, now your talent into what? Venture. See, this lady has done well, and our guidance should be given a whole lot of kudos. That's the Emanuela. To be able to identify a talent, mentor her, turn it into a money-making at this age. Some of us have not even bought our mother house. She had bought a house for our mother. So there's no limit to that age. 15 to me, it's even low. My daughter of 8 years now, have been looking at her talent. How can you monetize it? It's as simple as that.
Thank you so much, sir. I will also want to contribute to that. You know, the question here is this. At that age, some people start looking at business. I would say, look for skills. Look for skills. You know, at the first time is this, when you get a skill, it's the skill that will give you the money. And that is what you said. I met a boy. The boy was 12 years old. The boy used to code for Amazon. And he's still in secondary school. He told me he can give the father any amount he wants. So the question is this: what skill can you build on the children? Like my daughter started learning coding since last year. I bought her a system. I bought the younger brother a system. Because I discovered if I allow them, I will start putting it to them when they have engaged their mind into something not meaningful. So one thing about it is that as a parent, you need to find out what is going on. No, the problem is that some parents does not even know what's going on. And the Bible says, teach your children the way they will go. So when they do, they will not depart from it. So that's another part of it. Thank you, sir.
Praise. Just to quickly add to that, skill, like I said earlier, and talent, they are the key. Now, I'll pick it up from where you stop. Parents need to understand the children here. See, we have, is it Mr. Tade that said it, that we have, or was I listening to wherever, that we have parents that are missing in action. Because I was listening to venture capitalists, and they are taking a venture capitalist to being a parent. When you give someone money as a venture capitalist, and you leave them to run their life without following up what they are doing, then you are doomed for run. So most of us, we believe that giving them the best score is just all you have to do for them. Putting them wherever, you don't know, you don't move close to your children. You don't understand them. You don't have a time out with them. See, a time out with your children can make you discover their talent. It can be anything. It can be acting. It can be what? Sketching or writing. Discover. See, all of these talents with internet can be monetized. Go online. See children of 5, 7. Even sometimes you go on, you see this competition, American or XSS for children, you see little children dancing alone. I've seen a lady, deaf from birth. I was watching it with my daughter online, deaf, making millions from dancing. Just dancing. So what you need to do is build them up, understand them, know their talent, chart that talent in the right course of making money. But you will still need time to do that. You need to build time and build that relationship with your children. If I'm to ask you now, what one thing do your children or do your child is to do? To answer. Just one thing. Just go back with that thought.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. So, for the next question here, we have Mr. Tade. Please, what are the deep signs for someone to realize that is a game changer? What are the deep signs that someone that will see that will tell you that, yes, I am a game changer?
All right. Well, for me, basically, humans, you can't judge human on a face value, all right? For instance, there are people that went back in school, they are not doing well. Okay, everybody has even concluded that this one is a no-brainer. You can't make it in life. You just need a miracle to succeed. And then when we have left school, 3-5 years down the line, some of my guys that they were very playful in school, you see them win future award, the moment 3-5 years after we left school, and you're wondering like, this guy won future award. Where did he get it from? Because this is what happened. Change begins with a decision. The moment someone make a decision, rapture happen in his life. And one of the things that people must learn to do is to be very decisive. Most people live life not being decisive. They are always just trying to gamble on so many things. So when you see a man or a woman that is very decisive, is going to go places in life. Because decision. Now, you can make a decision and be wrong. You need to make a decision to also be right. But most people don't know how to make a decision. They don't know. Some people, opportunities. They will hear a sermon here today. All right? I remember I was younger when Pastor Sam Adeyemi had a program somewhere in Daystar. And there is a man called Sonny Ojagbese. He's late now, the owner of Complete Sport. And I came late for that program, and I think I was 20 or 21 at that time. And I came late for that program. And I heard Sonny Ojagbese said, some of you, this book this man just published, Parable of Dollars, you can sell this book. That is all that I heard. And I left that moment and I told my friend that I will go and sell this book. But guess what? I didn't have the money. And I got home, I told my elder brother, because I was decisive. I told my elder brother and I said, bro, I want to sell this book. I think we can sell a lot of this book. And he said, where will you get the money? Go and sell it now. And I realized that my brother has 5,000 naira, that he needs to go back to Obafemi Awolowo University the next day. And I woke him up in the middle of the night. Now, look at the power of decision on other people that don't make decisions. Because we live in a society today where people that are doing wrong thing are decisive about what they are doing, and the people that have the right thing are not decisive about it. So what happened is that the people that are wrong but decisive are having more influence on the people that have the right thing but are not decisive. Then I told my brother that he should give me the money. He said no. I woke him up around 2:30 in the middle of the night. And I said, I need to talk to you. He was opening his eyes. He was wondering what's happening. I said, I'm waking up for one thing. I need you to give me the money so that I can buy the book in the morning. And he was looking at me. Guess what? He could not refuse it. He gave me the money, and it's when I bought the book that I realized that my brother's going back to school is at risk. Hello? Because if I did not sell the book, my brother is not going back to school. Guess what happened? I took that book to different restaurants around my area. I took that book to church, and I sold the book that at a time, the church I was going to give me the marketer of the year because of that book. I sold that book so well that when I gave my brother back his money 1 week later, he said he's not ready to go back to school now. I should go and sell more. Because it was making sense. So what happened is that you need to be decisive. We have heard sermons. Pastor has spoken this morning. I have shared a little bit of tips. The panelists have come here today. What are you deciding to start doing with your life from going forward? That is how people become game changer in life. And lastly, for you to be a game changer, you have to be courageous. You see, let me tell you, courage is a skill for top producers. Courage is a skill for top producers. If you want to be successful in life, you have to be courageous. Because you see, there are many steps you need to take that you don't have a total clue about it. You just have a little clue about it. But what will keep you going? Ask everyone sitting there. Ask pastor, even when the ministry started, courage was required. There are many people are not succeeding today because they are afraid of being misunderstood. But the point is, if you are not courageous, you can never be prosperous. And so you need to be that kind of person that is decisive and courageous. And then make your move. You will be a game changer.
Thank you so much, sir. So we want to have a question from our father. Has given us that. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. First of all, let's celebrate these amazing people. Let's celebrate. No, make it more resounding. Make it more resounding. I sat here listening to all of you, and I have mixed feelings. One, I'm excited, I'm emotional. I remember a few years ago that we'll bring Fela Droto, Yene Adesanya, Dr. Lumide Emmanuel, and it's a great joy that a few years just after, I can sit down and be listening to all of you. Apart from Mr. TEChurch, I know the story of all of you. But I'm sure the next time that Mr. TEChurch is coming, you will no longer be a stranger. Now, my question is this. I want you to tell us your stories. Actually, Mr. TEChurch took it from me. I want everybody to go in, to live here. Pastor Shea is one of us. Tayo, one of us. Lincoln, one of us. Architect, one of us. Please allow me. Henry, one of us. Architect, all of you. And I'm seeing a book here. And I'm having a book here, my amazing son, doing amazingly well. I'm always proud of him. It's not part of the evidence, but I love the fact that he's committed in his church, but it's part of me. The next thing, and many other people right here. All right, tell us a story. When did you get off the ground? What exactly did you do? Yeah, you've been sharing powerful things which are very powerful. I want to be able to run with those principles you have shared, but what exactly did you do? Mr. TEChurch, you spoke, your story inspires me. 25, you are broke. 27, you make $1 million US. That is 1.7 billion right now. So what exactly did you do? Generational wealth. Okay, where exactly are this wealth located? Okay, real estate, oil and gas. Open it up, open it up. Okay, that is what we do not. I want you guys, because you are, apart from Mr. TEChurch, you are all my sons. You are part of the Evidence Church. This is your church. All right. And some people heard perhaps what you heard 4 years, 5 years ago, and they are here to take decisions. And what Mr. TEChurch said is very introductory to my question. Somebody was here last 2 years, heard what you heard, you didn't take decision. Maybe sharing your story might be a blessing. I know when Ebuka was, all you did was writing books and ISBN. But right now, he's selling land everywhere, making billions. So I was fighting with Lexus some time ago. Don't drop ministry, but the guy has dropped ministry now. He's making money, selling lands everywhere. Praise God. Grace made. It's now money made. All right. So guys, please, the anchor guy, let them go around. I know we don't have the luxury of time. Within the short time that we do have, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, make your story so precise.
Okay, let me
yours to be the last. I'm enjoying you. You will come again and again. You will also go to Lekki, our church. You are so brilliant. I love your thoughtfulness. I love your perception and your perspective in answering questions. Beautiful. Let your story be the last. Let your story be the last.
So, Mr. Mark, can we start from you,
Don't
please?
give us marathon story.
Just
simple.
Straight to the point.
What did you do?
What did you do?
What did you make? When did you make decision? How did you get off the ground? Nobody will chase you for money after service. Just tell us. When I see Nikon breaking ground in Ibadan everywhere, I'm like, and I always chat up and, just say it. Say it. Somebody says a fashion designer, is a caterer. Many people are doing many things. When did you get off the ground? Because I knew what you are doing too. She went to Unilag. I knew when he saw an advert, join a multinational, and he has done 2 or 3 multinationals, working for them. What did you guys do? God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, I want to be as brief as possible. I could have just said I started, I continued, and I'm here. But let me just. Okay, I'm a by the grace of God, very creative person. It's my strength.
Architect, sorry, be very open about your own.
Okay.
This guy, since all of you are marketers, are builders here. I know you have your guys, but you need to patronize this guy. He's extremely intelligent. He's one of our best gifts in Lekki Church. Extremely intelligent. Extremely. I know he feels like crying. Just give him 2 hours in the midnight. He will give you a very creative plan that you'll be glad about. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, so my story started after leaving university. So I got a job. Before then, we have this IT you do, the normal, I think it's 6 months. I can't even remember. 6 months IT. Then I got employed, in an architecture outfit. But I realized that, I was like a gas. You can't compress gas for too long. It just has to, burst open. Okay? So, well, not to sound tribalistic, but I was like the only Igbo person in that, in that clique. But there was something about me that I kept on doing. I was very sincere. I was very sincere to my job. And I protected my boss. I didn't allow people come, eat his money. If you bring a quotation and maybe the total cost for that, quotation is, say, say 50,000, right? And you are quoting 70,000. I think you are a thief, right? At least at like 10% or 15%, it makes more sense. So I always, cross everything. I say, no, I don't want this, And they hated me for that, So they always like, tell my boss, you don't really like this guy. But at the end of the day, something happened, okay? And I had to leave. I had to leave that employment. But why did I leave? I realized that space was not enough for me. Like I said before, I'm like a gas, I spread, and that space could not contain me. But before then, I'd always wanted to do my own thing. I've always wanted to, practice and just have a little bit of exposure outside. But long and short of the story is that, I left the office. I wasn't fired. I left the office, out of annoyance. I just left, drove out of the office, and, the next month, I got a call from a company called Aluminium City. They offered me a job to, take as, a site architect and also a project manager. I took that job, and, the boss is always traveling to Canada. He travels to Canada. He doesn't pay our salary. He tells us that his friend paid his flight ticket, lies to us and everything. So salaries were delayed, and I'm asking myself, haven't I jumped from frying pan to fire? Do you understand? So along the line, I started looking for a job. All right. No, but before then, I branched out of Aluminium City with Madam Biodun. She's in the US now, doing excellently well. So we started an aluminum company together because we wanted to take projects, little by little. And we did a couple of projects with UPDC in Abuja, Lagos, thereabout. And we're making, little change, and, it was sounding interesting. But of course, with every business, it goes up and down, and consistency is very, very key. So when I realized that, it seems like, the money don't dey low, I started looking for a job. And I went out there, looked for a job, and everywhere I apply, I'm always, granted interviews and everything. The first place was, it's not too far from here. BHS, BPL, this Briscoe Properties. I don't know Briscoe Properties. Yeah, that gatehouse, that's cladding. I did that gatehouse, that cladding. I did it. And, Mrs. Hughes, their MD there, she was always like, you guys are always working diligently, 8 p.m., you've not left, because I was very precise. I wanted it accurately done. Okay? So when I went there for an interview, because somebody told me in the office that there was, a job opening, I went there, advertised, and during the interview, the woman was like, you look very familiar. I seem like I've seen you before. I said, no, well, I think I did your gate. She said, hey, you're the one that did the gates out. So the interview lasted for about an hour, and she told me that we can't employ you here. This place is too small for you. And I'm like, what's going on? She said, I think you should be working with Pixar Animation, somewhere outside, because we'll bore you here with paperwork. It was later in life I understood that this was just God sending angels to just tell me, don't stay here. Second place I applied for a job is at somewhere around on the island. So I passed all the interviews, passed all the ranks and everything, got to meet the MD or the CEO or the chairman. And he asked me a question. He said, how much do you pay yourself? Because, of course, you do, like, an exercise to prove your competence. I passed all those ones, by God's grace, I'm good. I know my job. So he asked me, how much do you pay yourself monthly? I mean, this was about, 8 years ago. So I said, I pay myself 200,000 naira monthly. Sir, business goes up and down, but, Then he said, the fact that business is low doesn't mean you should go get a job. Just keep doing what you're doing. If you are honest, you are sincere, and your clarity, you're sincere with your purpose, and it's clear, business will be good. I left that interview the happiest man, and that was the last interview that I ever went for. I told myself I'll continue to do my thing, and I'll continue to be, diligent to whatever I'm doing. And I started TEChurch Professionals and Architecture, outfit, and to the grace of God's grace, to the grace of God's name, to the glory of God's grace. It's been a wonderful ride. It's been a wonderful ride. I would have been collecting 50,000 naira per month where I was initially working. But by God's grace, today I've traveled to at least about 7 countries outside Nigeria. If I didn't take that step, I'll be collecting salary and I'll be in a place of, comfort. Some of us are scared to dare. The future belongs to those who are willing to dare.
So how do you get these powerful, innovative designs? Because we need to go.
Okay, great.
Touch that in 30 seconds.
Okay, in 30 seconds, yes. I must be very sincere with you. my designs and my knowledge base, God just shows me these things. That's the way it works for me. If I'm speaking to a client, the way the client is talking to me, I'm seeing it clear in my head. And it has always been like that for me. Everybody has the way they relate with God, your relationship with God. Some people say God is my provider. Some say God is my healer. For me, he's a God of concept. That's mine. So it's my relationship with God that gives me those ideas, and it has worked for me. Anytime I do or I walk towards, because it's like God giving me a expo for everything I do. If I walk towards that picture that God is showing me in my head, they never refuse my design. It's always, you did a good job. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Right. The next IX, all of you have to bring all your works so we can be inspired and make decisions. Okay, Eric, go ahead. The next person from education to real estate to
All right,
to
thank you,
family.
sir.
I'm exposing them so that they can talk.
Thank you, sir. I would like to talk about myself. I have a very funny startup. Supposed to be a surgeon. I started as a medical surgeon. And yes, I started as a medical surgeon as a student. And a very brilliant and very articulated person. But you know, and the devil was waiting for me. So at the process, I got to 100 level, 200 level. The sponsor, my father, has stroke. So they called me and said, you have to carry your bag and come back home. So imagine the best student in the class is going home. I cannot forget that day. Every member of my class was weeping, like, how? What can we do? But I told them, I don't have what to do. Let me go back home. So I don't know that God was redirecting my step. So I go back home. I spent another 4 years back to school. So I was saying this because, I'm saying this because some people will feel like, this guy, and all that. You might be in that situation. I want to tell you that God is faithful. I ended up starting off from a monotechnic school. Not a polytechnic school. A monotechnic. This is a school that only offers only one course. Federal School of Statistics. Under National Bureau of Statistics. So I met a man called Dr. Kayode, and the man said to me, don't mind the structure of this school. Your life can start from here. So, and I said to myself, I will not mind. So I started off with that. I ended up being the SCG president of that school, and I left with distinction. So I moved from that school, and I told myself, if I move from university, come down to this monotechnic, I should not have any results. So from there to Polytechnic, I attended the Polytechnic for my HND, and I had distinction all through my semesters. And I was given a rector award and all that. So since then, I told myself, and I said, I will make sure I'm better than where I'm coming from. This is my anchor. I'll be better. So when I was doing that HND, I was working in a school in Oyo. I will leave that school in the Niger State and come back to Oyo to teach. Yes, I don't used to go home. My family house in Ibadan. But I used to shovel Oyo, Niger State, Bida, Federal Polytechnic Bida, down to Oyo. The man said, Mr. Akinola, he said, I will be paying you when you are in school because I like it, because I teach maths, physics, chemistry, and further mathematics. So I was not doing that because I was brilliant. I was doing that to survive because I sent myself to school. So I was doing that. If my parents don't know where I am, I don't know. They don't know where I am. I just don't know I'm in Oyo. So when I was in HND, the principal of that school, Mr. Taiwo, resigned and started his own school. And the man called me, Henry, I'm making you the principal of this school. Since I know you can undo it. I was not in the school. The man made me the principal of the school. So I was the principal of the school. I was still in HND2. So the man called me to come and sign WAEC and NECO in that school. And I was still a student. So that was how I started. And from there, I left after the HND to my NYSC on Port Harcourt. And I told God, this NYSC would be for you because you have helped me. So I took NCCF as a transport organizing secretary. There's nothing, I don't go to PPA. I will just go there serving God and doing evangelism. And the man called me and said, you are serving now. I'm going to increase your salary. I am not working there. I was serving. The man increased my salary as a principal. And I was not in the school. So God was standing in for me and was making it. So I call him, as he called, he said, God is Christ. I call him God Ebenezer, my help. So what I've seen so far is help of God. I don't know anybody. Even I told my wife when I want to marry her, I don't have anybody. I only have God. So I started that after, during our LYSC, people were saying several things. I want to tell you, please, my brother and my sister, mind what people tell you and mind what you accept. So people are saying after this HND, after this NYSC, I'll go back and do master. I said, I've mastered enough. I'm going there to change my life. So after my NYSC, I left June. And there is a brother, he's like a friend, but he's an elder brother. Barrister Richard.
I know our stories can take weeks.
So I will let me summarize it.
Thank you.
So Barrister Diogo called me and said, when are you through the service? Come and meet me in Ibadan. Under ShopRite in Ibadan, he gave me HR manager after 1 week of service. So after that, I was doing that from there to business analyst, and that I started. And that same year after NYC, I got married. No money from anybody. But God did it. So I started that, with that, like that. Sometimes I will go back. Sometimes I will come back. Sometimes I will go up. Sometimes I will come down. So we keep on doing that. But by God's grace, I have 46 certifications. I've worked as a consultant for UNICEF. I'm a data analyst by profession. I've worked for Lagos Business School, Nigerian Breweries, Mocha Foam. I don't know which I call for. And I have a registered logistic company. I work with oil and gas with Renoy. And I presently have a 4th fellowship and about to be completed German scholarship. And last week, I just resumed a job as a financial analyst with a multinational company. Thank you.
Oh, wow. All these stories are very inspiring and decision-making. Now, Lincoln, I know you need a month to share your story, but make it very brief. When I came for your end of the year party, there are things you are saying. I want to hear them now. Education, farming, oil and gas, in 2 minutes.
Hey, Jesus Christ. All right, sir. Where do I start? 2 minutes to share all this, sir. I will try. Well, it all started from my background, actually. You know, I said it when I was making a point the other time that I saw it all. I saw poverty face to face. And that actually was with my parents. Anyways, we were staying in a rickety apartment like that. Not, apartment is just to touch it, we want to touch it up. And I realized that the life we were living, I was not satisfied with it. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry to say this, but I just have to say it. My father did not really do well. And that's not an excuse now, because it's long gone. It's long past. I've never seen a day that I was given school fees. All the burdens were carried by my mother. That's why I don't joke with her till date. The whole thing changed for me. This guy you are seeing here had hugged Ewedu in the street of Mushin. On the street of Mushin, I will go. There's no street. In fact, I got to know the name of streets. Street in Mushin through walking. Ewedu, Ewedu seller. I will carry my basket, put Ewedu there. When I see my friends from school, I will go and hide. It's as if the ground should open and swallow me up because of stigmatization. So I went through that for years. There's not, I've hugged many things. But in the course of doing all these things, I was in SS2. I remember vividly, I stumbled on a book that talked about living the life of peace. I read that book, and that book gave me a different perspective about life. And I realized, ever since then, I've been pushing for excellent life. When I left school, and I knew from the ground states that I'm not going to work under anybody. I knew. I had a clear direction of where I was going. So even when I worked under people, I'm not saying that you should go and tender your resignation letter or wherever you're working on. So that's my own story. Even when I worked under someone, I was doing that because of money that I wanted to get to go and start something, to go and start my own business. I worked in a pure water company. I was being paid 3,500 per month. And every day I'll be using Panadol Extra because I'll be carrying bags of, you understand, it was that bad. Sincerely, there was a time that I cried overnight. Now, at some point, I worked in that pure water company for 3 months. And I realized that the 3,500 was not even doing anything for, but I needed the money to do some certain things. I remember vividly, there was a time that this is where the whole game changed for me. I remember I was doing PP, private coaching. Because as a brilliant boy, and I was also doing some things and all that. I was doing private coaching and all that. I remember vividly then, a parent paid me 5,000 naira. Because of the fact that I knew where I was going, I built principles around me. And those principles actually made me to discipline my taste so that my future will not be trapped. If you know me too well, there are some certain things you will not know about me, but I'll just want to be silent. But in my mind, I'm looking for business opportunities. That has been the way I've been living my life. So when money comes into my pocket, like what people used to say, me, when I have money, I'm looking for business opportunities. So when the 5,000 came, I didn't take anything out of it. I remember that I sat down. What do I need to do to double the money and all that? And I realized, I just look at my strength. What can I do better? I can teach. I went to that woman. I remember then, Ikale. That's how I started my business. As a business person, I started a business there. That woman, I will never forget her in my life, and I'm still looking for her. That woman was working in, Motion local government there. And I went to that woman. There was a school in Ikale then. We call it FSP something. I just went to that woman and I want to start a tutorial. And I went to go and she was actually the HOD education then. And I went to that woman, support my career. I've gone through to meet the head of the school and all that. She rejected my offer. We are not giving out the school, blah, blah, blah. It's government property, blah, blah, blah. I just went to that woman. When I went to that woman, she looked at me. He said, how much do you have? I was afraid to make mention of the amount, that I only had 5,000 naira. And she looked at me. Tell me the amount you have. Don't be afraid. I said, I only have 5,000 naira to pay for. He said, 5,000, that's what you have. Bring it. Go and pay into the government account. I will give you that school to go and use it. The woman supported me, and I started tutorial. I was collecting 250 naira per month from students then. I was teaching 7 subjects, even the one that I don't know. Because of my quest for transformation. Even the one I didn't know, I was the head boy in my school. As in, I was trained in sciences. I was teaching financial accounting. You know what it means? When you are balancing accounts, because one day I was teaching the students. I was teaching economics. I was teaching biology, physics, chemistry, further mathematics, literature. That does not concern me. Government, because of money. That's why I'm not surprised where God took me to now. Well, on a faithful day like that, I was teaching financial accounting. I read Frank Wood like mad. I was not trained in that, oh. I was trained in sciences. But I sat down with Frank Wood. Kini, Mam Mosha. Because my quest for knowledge was very strong then as a young chap. So I started reading Frank Wood. One day I was teaching YX students financial accounting. This account, the balance. I was now sweating profusely. And the students knew that, Okay, you are under pressure. I was sweating. I just were laughing. I want to be doing Jacksha. So, as long as, in the course of doing that, I just realized that, guy, you need to sublet some things. You can't do this one. So I started, from the morning I started making, I was subletting the subjects, I was acquiring more teachers to myself. I was not paying them. What I used to pay them is to take them, I will never forget Yakola. I'll take them there. That woman sells Sadiko Street, sir. God bless you, sir. I'll take them there. I'll buy them a loaf of bread and ewa. That's their compensation. I was doing that and the course of doing that, the money started coming in, little money. Now, I said something, building principles around yourself is one of the things that you can use to liberate yourself from financial backwardness. If you want to come out from the dungeon of financial decadence, you have to build the principle that guides your spending life.
So now, how did you now evolve?
How did I evolve?
Grant and where money is?
Pastor Paul. Okay, now, from there, when I was able to gather some money, I realized that I was doing evening classes then. I realized that I needed to do morning classes too. Okay, I needed money. I was able to put together. Then I got an apartment, a very hollow place. I was paying, you can imagine if you are paying 18,500 naira per year for a room. You know how small the room is. When you enter like this, just jump on your bed. No space for dancing. So I was living there, and people didn't know that I had that kind of money. I was able to put together, I think, 250,000. I was not looking for any apartments to go and look big boy and all that. Shirt comes out, Akuna Matata. I don't do those rubbish because I know where I was going. So, as God would have it, a space opened for me. I was able to exact amount that I saved. That was the money that I paid for that space. And that space, I demarcated it. So science students will be here, commercial will be here. We'll be using bank coding for art and humanities students. I was just so creative with that and all that. I was able to, as money was coming, I was able to buy a chair. That's how I started. And I started that way. And as God would have it, the number started getting increased. I also moved to a bigger apartment at Oye Roundabout. That's where we are now for tutorial classes. And from there, I was also able to gather money, not living big. Then I was able to gather 900,000. A space opened for me. I just realized, dawned on me that I need to transit from this level to another level. I need to start a school. I started that school. I saw a space around Oremeji. I went to that woman. The total cost for that apartment was 2.something million. And I only had 900,000. I went into negotiation with that woman. Let me put this 900,000 down. I'll pay in 6 months. I'll balance up in 6 months. The woman agreed. It was as if God was just following me. Following my word, my footsteps. Because of the intention. When I paid that money, no money to do anything. Because I had a business that is already generating money, which is the tutorial center. I was able to raise money there to do painting and all that, and to sell something, buy some chairs. I started school against all odds, against all business planning and all that. All schools will always start a school first term. I started second term. And when I started, I told my wife. Then she was my wife to be there. I said, come on, you have to do this thing. You have to support me in this one. You two don't have anything you are doing. Okay, what will happen is that I give her a manual, go and study. So you just have to do it by force. And we started that way. And from there, I think we were able to raise 80 students. And from there, when that one also got matured, another business, we need to move into another thing. I have a principle. I always have a principle, 6 months expiry date for any new business I start. 6 months. So why people are still celebrating you for one success? You have left since, but they don't know what is going through your mind. And some people will still be celebrating you for 1 year, but not knowing that you have left that place. As I am now, there are some businesses that I'm moving into. Because the one I started 6 months ago has expired. We have to move to that. That's how to build wealth. I understood that at a very younger age. When I did that, I realized that one was also giving us money. Hey, this one has given money again. Now, if you look at it, we have tutorial. We have I'm a primary school. Then I need to start secondary school. A whole building opened up. A 2-story building with 24 classrooms. I said, let me go for this one too. How much did you have? Then I was able to gather like what, 12 million naira. Then I was a big boy. But big boy still wearing Aswani clothes. Because I had the place, I have where I'm going. When I negotiated for that place, as God would have it, they also collected the amount from me. They collected 6 million naira for 3 years. I negotiated that building for 2 million per year. During COVID, then I've started marketing real estate for real estate companies and all that. That was 2020. During COVID, everything just went down. Business, school business. And that was then when I was renovating that school. That secondary school. The amount to put, the facility to put in the secondary school. It's very, very tasking. So, in the course of that, because of the fact that I started real estate, marketing real estate for real estate companies, COVID entered, no money again from all the sources. I have some primary school, tutorial that was giving me money. But because of COVID, nobody was going to school again. I was not collecting school fees. I was not collecting any money from tutorial. Because of the real estate that I was doing, as God would have his way. During the COVID, I was renovating that place. I sold some land then, and the commission I had was 7 million naira. I will use the 7 million naira to renovate, not spending 1 naira out of it. To renovate it. So when COVID went off, when COVID was over, I started the school, and the school started generating money. From there, I learned a principle. And I'm going to share one of the principles, even if at all you are not exposed to all. That was where I learned that you don't buy property to live in when your business is not well structured. I buy property for business, because any property you buy to live in is not an asset, it's a liability. I got the information. So when you see me buy a building, it's either for school, for another business. They will fund wherever if anywhere I want to stay, I will stay there. So far, I have a business that is funding them. So from there, I was able to do that successfully. The school also got established. I don't need to be there. In fact, in most of my schools, sometimes 3 months I will not be there, but I'll be receiving alerts. The school got established again. We're able to, I think currently we are in our secondary school, we have over 200 and something students. And primary school is also doing very well. I was able to move to another location too. I started KG there too. We have the center too. And a time just came that I needed to. I was not still satisfied, because poverty don't show me shaggy. So I was not satisfied. Even as I'm sitting here, I'm not satisfied. I'm not. You just have to be what now? To be down to earth with some things. So I started thinking of what I'm moving into real estate and all that. I started real estate because I joined an association, but that association was very, very nostalgic. It was a venomous association. I left that association. Ebuka can attest to this, because I brought him into it too. So when we entered that association, that association almost destroyed us. I had to tell him, I pulled out. And because I brought him into it, he says, we are also pulling out. And as God would have said, I started my own real estate company to the glory of God. Lincoln City Property. That's one of the arms of Lincoln City Services and Investment Limited. We have over 24 estates currently. We have in Ogun State, Ibejuleki, Abuja, Ibadan, and Pastor Paul, you want me to say this? Last year, also, the business got seriously blessed, sincerely speaking, to the point that it was even through real estate I got to know my Oga. That brought me into a cartel and all that. And from there, I also realized that I needed to do some other. I need to spike up my game. And in the course of doing that, I just realized that I needed to learn another rope of business, another line of business. I started learning oil and gas, because I had a guy then that's a friend that is into oil and gas and all that, and is doing fantastically well in oil and gas. I said, guy, teach me. The guy didn't teach me. I went online myself to go and study. I studied that for 1 year. Don't go into any business that you don't have knowledge about. I had to take 1 year out to study on that word. And when I got that, as God would have his way, someone just called me, a friend of mine, Mustafa, just called me from Apapa Depot. There is someone that is under a particular oil blog wanted to sell his oil license. I said, soil is oil license. Yes, that one. And he just called me. And when he told me, he said, the license is sold for 20 million. I said, you know me now, I'm always prepared. Nothing comes with giddy to my side, because I'm always prepared. Because opportunity, I always prepare for opportunity. So when he told me about that, I went there, I had a meeting, blah, 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 blah. And as God would have his way, I called my lawyer. It was smooth. I got that license. But I've not started operating. I got that license. When I got that license, when he opened my eyes to some side, and immediately I paid for that license. I don't waste time on business opportunity and all that. Immediately I paid for that license. A lot of people started attacking me from that place. Who is this guy? Blah, 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 blah. They just told me that one Danjuma from Kano is one of the wealthy people in Nigeria, needed that license for one of his boys. And as God just saw me through, and I was able to get that license. And that license is with me. As if that wasn't enough, I just realized that, let me tell you something. What I wanted to learn from this, to get inspired, is that always prepare. Every money that comes into your hand is for an investment. Even if at all you want to spend out of it, manage the situation around it. Let me be realistic. One of the things that gave me edge in the business corridor is because nothing comes to me in shock. Nothing comes to me in shock. Of recent, I told Pastor Paul about it. I got a contract with Oyo State government of recent to build 500 shops in a very strategic location in Oyo. What made them to give me that contract was because of capacity, because they asked us to print statement of account. And when I sent the statement, they were amazed. And they gave me the contract. I'm currently building 500 shops at Agoji Gates. As if that wasn't enough, I also given another to build another 500 bungalows in Oyo State, Omitotun town, with Oyo State government. Yesterday, by the help of God, I told you that I traveled, I wasn't around. I went with a king. And he told me that I should come and do a project for him to, that I got another contract by the help of God, and it's just going on and on like that. So, if you compare, juxtapose, the current state and where I started from is about decision, courage, and discipline, principle.
And the best is yet
to come.
Let's celebrate him. Let's celebrate him. Now, I'm getting more fulfilled because hearing stories, inspire people, and that is a possibility of greater things. All right, before the next person will speak, my friend came in, and let's celebrate my dear friend and brother, Pastor Wale Champion, is my longtime friend. And he really wants to go now. I don't want him to go, but just greet us.
I want to cry.
Oh.
I'm telling you, I feel like crying really because destiny will judge you and I if we live here today and we become poor. I'm telling you, I am just overwhelmed. Pastor Neil, thank you. Thank you for bringing these guys together. And I didn't tell him yesterday. We chatted yesterday, actually. I told them in church, I said, let me dash down to see my friend. I feel like crying, I'm telling you. Because you have no reason to be poor. You have no. I'm saying all we have heard today. Don't go to Harvard. I'm doing 2 MBAs now, by the grace of God, back to back. I said, don't go to any schools. If all these guys have said this morning, this afternoon, we take them and we run with them. We can't be poor. Trust me. Thank you, sir, for...
Wow. Which was the same thing I said earlier on, that I'm having a very strong misfeelings right here. Once upon a time, it was Fela Droti who would bring Nia Desanya, Dr. Lumide, and it's a privilege that I'm not sucking from your breast. Thank you. Let's celebrate that one more time. All right. Tayo, briefly. Nicholas taking the whole... so don't follow after him. All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. I won't even follow after him because my story is a grace-made story. I wish I could have a lengthy stories like this, but I don't have, because God started dealing with me at a very tender age. And even after school, when I went for service, when I came, the day of POP, in a strange land, I met 3 people that told me, you are not meant to struggle for anything. I don't know them from anywhere. I don't know them. They just walk up to me. I remember vividly a lady from a Redeemed church that I served, and She said, I am not meant to struggle, that things come to me naturally. And lo and behold, before I left that state, I served in Bayelsa. I got an offer to work with Shell. That's why I said, I don't have lengthy stories like this. I got an offer to work with Shell, and I did accounting. I love figures. Anything 1, 2, 3. So what it tells you is I like money. Forget. I might be talking gently the way I'm talking. I talk big. I don't settle for less. So I have actually done teachings before while I was in school. All those stories, I don't think, because of our time, I don't think I want to go to. So I got an offer with Shell in Bayelsa State. But because it was going to be offshore, onshore, water, blah, 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 I said, no, I'm not taking it. So I came back to Lagos. So I was just in the house for 2 months. So we went for my grandma's burial. So I traveled back home to Lagos, and my mom was still in the village. So she just spoke with one of my uncles. She said, your brother just came back from service, blah, blah, blah. He did accounting, blah, blah, blah. He just called me. He called me, he said, where are you? I said, I'm in Lagos. He said, okay, I will give you someone's number now. Call the person, go and meet the person. Then whatever the outcome of the meeting is. So lo and behold, I called the person. The person asked me to meet her at Ikosi, Mr. Biggs there. So we sat, we got talking. Okay, where's your CV? This is my CV. The lady was like, okay, you are coming in as an internal control. I didn't struggle for it. He said, you are coming in as an internal control person, blah, 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 blah. The next question she asked me was, when do you intend to start? I said, I'll start the next day. She said, okay, no problem. So I took my bag. The next day, I got to Lekki. So when I got into the organization, the place is so big. So big. So I got in. I met her. She was in a big office. She was like, okay, this is your table. This is what you want to do. This is what you want to do. I'm sharing this story because don't think as it is sweet, as I'm saying it now. That's how it has been till now. So I got there. She was like, okay, so my first assignment as an internal control person, come and go to the bank. So when I said, okay, let me have the cash to take to the bank. I said, the thief here. She said, no, you are not meant to go and enter public bus. Your official car is waiting outside. So when I got outside, an old man just came out, opened the door. Sir, one little tiny boy. I said, no, sir, I want to grow old too. Let me sit beside you. Because everything appears to be a strange thing to me. How can someone just call me, okay, start, blah, 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 all those kind of things. So I went to the bank, I came back. Getting back to the office, I was already looking at it at the time. I said, won't this woman release me? At least it is 5. I never knew she was observing me. She was not like, okay, you are looking at the time, you want to go home. No, you are not going home. Just call them in the house that you are now a Lekki resident. So he now said, don't worry, the driver will take you to your official apartment now. That was how the driver drove me. When I got there, when I entered the apartment, I was in a 5-bedroom duplex, well-serviced house, blah, 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 all those kind of. I have an executive dog that will guide me. I have housemaid. I have someone that will wash my car, all manners. So I was remembering all what they told me, that you are not meant to struggle, and everything comes to you easily. So I got back to the office, we got talking. So I started making money. I got my first property at the age of, I think 23 or thereabout. I bought my first landed property. Even if I don't know anything about real estate, all what my dad was just telling me, you are seeing money, this boy. Like what he said, that's the first money that comes into your hand. You use it to buy bean cakes and the rest. he made sure that I didn't use that one to buy it. Despite the fact that I was spending lavishly because I don't even know what to do with money. So everything, at some point, everything changed. I wasn't going to church because, of course, you were seeing money, nothing. Okay, you have an official, two official cars. You have a driver, you have a chef. If I must not enter the office in the morning and not see my breakfast on the table. That's how sweet it was. So, but God only told me then that this is just the flash of what you are to behold. But I don't know how to go about it. So something happened. I lost the job. Yes. Because, of course, God needed to intervene to make me start all over again. So I needed to understand what life is all about. I don't even understand. I don't even know that there are some people that are out there suffering, drinking gari, all those kind of things. So I started. It now happened that it was when I wanted to get married, I lost that job. To the extent that I didn't save to get an apartment personally. When my wife came into the picture, she was like, how can you not have an apartment to yourself? You are saying, oh, your boss will not be happy with you, blah, 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 blah. I never knew God was using her to open my eyes, even before I lost the job. So I turned the deaf ear to her, of course. You're like, when I'm seeing money, what are you telling me? I'm living in Lekki, 5-bedroom duplex with 2 official cars, chef, housemaid, all those kind of things. So I started life purely. So I met with Pastor Paul. Even before I lost the job, I've already met with Pastor Paul. So the first question Pastor Paul asked me was, when he prayed for me, I met Pastor Paul through my wife. When I met Pastor Paul, the first question he asked me was, do you wish to change your job? I said yes, because I have always desired a good life. Hello? Okay. I've always desired a good life, but I don't know how to navigate, how to go about it. So, Pastor Paul asked me, do you want to change your job? I said yes. Even if he does not even know what I was earning, meeting him. When I come here then, my driver brings me down to the mainland. I don't like coming to the mainland because I was already used to that life. So, but I will come, he will drive me back, so he asked me. So after that period, I have been praying to God before that time that God, just give me a job that when I get married, I will have time for my family, I will have time for my wife. I want to live a normal day to 9 to 5. You go to the office in the morning, come back, blah, blah, blah. God was just looking at me and said, this one, you will go and come back. So when Pastor Paul asked me that question, so something after that period, I shall lost the job. So I had to start life, as in squarely. I had to face life squarely. So Pastor and my wife, they spoke with Dr. Funke. So that, my son, blah, blah, wants a job. So that was how I got into that company that time. So they were paying me 70,000. Imagine someone that has been earning big money. They were paying me. I had to summon courage to start life all over again. So I was earning. But deep down inside of me, I wasn't comfortable. There's this thing that is not making me to become restless every day. There's this thing that is making me to always yearn for more. That I can't settle for less. Most times when I drive through Lekki outside, most times when I'm on the steering, I'll tell myself, I can't be poor. I say that to myself every day. So I got to that company, but I didn't really like the structure. It wasn't, I came in as an accountant, but it wasn't, so I spent only 9 months there. So after that time, I got another offer at TEChurch. just to audit. In fact, that one, it was for us to revive the company. So audit. So no cash flow. So the day of 20,000. But when I dress in the morning, when I wear my suit, when I wear my tie, you will think this guy is a bank manager. And I was appearing the way I want to appear in future, even despite the fact that I was not earning what I desire to earn. So I was going for a whole year. The day of 20,000 we will share. The day of, I wasn't, no basics. You don't understand. There was no salary. The wife has already come in. Wife is in already. So we were just managing. But I kept on telling my wife, in fact, how worst this thing got. When we got married, someone that was living in Lekki, I went to Ikorodu to go and start saying. It was like a trauma for my wife. She was tormenting me every day. Like, you came to Surulere to carry me. You now return me back to Ikorodu. So this also helps me. So that's why I will tell you something must be chasing you. If you are not chasing something must be, except you want to settle for less. So, but I kept on reassuring her that don't worry. I know where I'm going. I'll get there. So, with the help of my mother-in-law, we were able to put funds together. From Ikorodu, we moved to Mafoluku. My mother-in-law, in fact, then, I also lost the job because I wasn't comfortable. To the extent that I went to TEChurch, to an audit firm, because I was tired. They wanted to be offering me 45,000 naira. When I got home, I couldn't tell my wife because she will never agree. So at the long run, she accepted. No, she didn't accept for me to go to the. She now said, no, you can't go for the job. You are more than this. So if people around me are seeing what I am not seeing myself, what happens to me? So she said, no, if it's for us to be drinking Gary in this house, we'll be drinking Gary. I will cry, I will shed tears. So I'll be listening to Pastor's message. Pastor will talk about vision, wisdom. So each year, I'll be running the year with one word. So we moved from there. So I got into real estate. So I was understanding the nature of the business because I knew I wasn't going to work for someone for life. I needed to start my own. So I was understanding the nature of the business. I was told I will know everything about the business. I know everything about it. That was what helped us. When we started Shepherd Wing, I was the marketer, I was the customer representative, I was the HR. In fact, I would discuss with my lawyer friend that just give me the template. When I want to give clients document, I will prepare it myself. You just help me put the seal. So that was how we did it. So I was asking God. I said, God, what do you want me to do? What do you want for a whole year? I said, God, speak to me. I want to hear you directly. So the 9th month of that year, God said, start marketing. I said, me, marketing. How? Because, of course, the normal conventional way of marketing is you go on the streets, you be sharing flyer. How do I want to start? I don't talk. I'm a shy person. I never knew that I had this potential inside of me that I was not even exploring at all. So, lo and behold, I took action immediately. Immediately I woke up from that sleep. I just told my wife. I said, Holy Spirit said I should start marketing. Immediately, she also made call. Blah, blah, blah. That was the journey. Do you know that the following week, I made a sales of 12 million naira. The following week, I took that step. One of a client that I've known online. He is in Dubai. He works in Dubai. So he came to Nigeria. We met. He invited me to Ikeja. He said, come and meet me. He now said, Tayo, eat anything, order steamed rice, pepper soup. I said, sir, no, that's not what I came here for. This form that you asked me to bring, fill it first. After that one. So he filled. He got back to Dubai. He transferred the money. So it was a sign for me that you don't ignore God's instruction. Like he said, he used, sir, how did you quote it that time? You used the ridiculous for the miraculous. Let me put it that way. So that was how the journey began. Do you know that since then, I have never been short of ideas when it comes to marketing? So Pastor Paul, in 2021, Pastor Paul came to this altar. He preached a message about seed. He said, as an individual, you have seed inside of you that a whole world is attached to. So, and you must not die with that seed. I became so restless. I got back home. I was driving to the office the next day. I got to Lekki Toll Gate. I was crying. I got to Ikoyi. I was shedding tears uncontrollably. So I was about to mount Third Mainland Bridge. I just had to park for me to cry very well. So that was how the journey began. And by the special grace of God, when we were going to open the company, it just happened. I don't know. In fact, when we were going to register, we had 25,000 naira in our account. I just spoke with my lawyer friend. I said, babe, how far? I want to register a company, blah, blah. He said, okay, Tayo, paid 25,000 naira. We had to sacrifice. And by the special grace of God, God has been faithful. He has been faithful. And that was how Shepherd Wing came into limelight officially in 2022. And I realized that I needed to add value to myself in the course of those processes, because I started getting exposed to business world. I started understanding. I realized that the value you place on yourself determines the value that comes to you. Now, I needed to also set a standard for myself. When I was coming into the industry, sir, I told myself, I said I won't sell cheap lands. I told myself. I said, I don't care if it is just 2 sales or 3 sales we have in a year. I can't settle for less. So when we started, I didn't know how we're going to acquire land. I was just in the office. I was still under employment in a real estate company. And Holy Spirit just struck my mind, reminded me of someone I've known 3 years back. So immediately, I called him. I said, sir, I have this vision, blah, blah. He said, really? He said, come and see me on the island. So when I got to there, he said, the Holy Spirit that has been speaking to you, get closer. He said, this land we are sand-filling. I don't know if the media can help me project. This land we are sand-filling, you can have it. I'm like, it was like, I don't understand. He said, don't worry, when you have money, come and pay. So I got back home. My wife was like, I knelt down. I started crying. My wife was like, what happened to you? So I'm like, how do I want to do this? This is a swampy area. How do I want to do it? So, but I knew that I wasn't going to settle for less. So I was already thinking of going to Ibejuleki, Ekpe, to go and acquire land, blah, blah, blah. God said, you are starting at Etiosa. So that was how the land came. And I started calling people. And immediately people started responding. One of that same client that gave me 12 million naira was the first person again to like, oh, you have a vision, blah, blah, blah. Take this money, start. When I got an office space, in fact, we started the company in our living room. God bless Dr. Funke. When we were going to start, she gave me her office in Lekki Phase 1. Office space. A client paid for the office. While we were in that office, I was making video calls that was how we started. I was making video calls for some of our clients. They're like, okay, Tayo, we're going to support you. They started dropping money. I don't know how these things were happening. That was how I said, I am grace made. So I don't really have lengthy stories. But what I'm trying to say in essence is, it is
People are saying you are for. Praise God. So help us to wrap up,
yes,
so that
it is not about the money. It is about who you are becoming to earn that money. I don't know if you get me. It is not about the money you want to get. It's about who you are becoming too. I have placed so much value and standard on myself with the help of Pastor Paul, his teachings. Like I usually tell us here, I chew his teachings. And I keep saying it over and over again. Whatever Pastor Paul teaches on this altar, whether in your marriage, in your business, go and apply it. It go work. Forget.
We give God praise.
It go work. So it is a journey of grace. It's a journey of God. That's just what I
And
would
the
say.
best is yet to come. Pastor Shea, please.
Lord. Praise the Lord. I will be brief. Trust me. Yes. Well, I will just start from where everyone has stopped because it's not about the result. You can see the result. It's not about the result. It's the process. If you can just pick something along what they are sharing, don't look at the result in itself, millions and the rest, but what are the process that make them who they are? To me, a bit, praise the Lord, is a bit different because you can't be with Pastor Paul and you won't think entrepreneur, you won't think business. I've been with him over 15 years. Definitely you think business and entrepreneur. Understand? Stepping out of university for me is work a no-no to me. Me go and work after all this teaching, what I've heard. See, since when I was in university, I've been writing a business plan. I understand business templates. That's one thing about me. I have the idea. I know what to do. But however, constraints come and destiny plays its part. So I believe it's destiny that plays this part because then I started the first one, magazine, wasn't working very well. Yeah. The other one, because I'm also technologically inclined, understand, we are the first set of people that started electronic card, understand, into making it biodata card. Going into university, I guess, I know we worked with University, Federal Technology, Federal University of Technology, Minna. I was always going, Ekiti State University, trying to. But at the end of the day, partnership, everything wasn't working well. But at long run, sometimes necessity will be model of invention. So you start one day, I say, now, let me just try for 6 months. And trying to try for 6 months, then that's I don't say, there's this one data analysis, and I'm very good. That's why every opportunity, take advantage of it. I will quickly delve into that data analyst very well. When I was in the university, I was the class rep, and then my course advisor is very good at it, at being a data analyst. And he currently was working with on a project with the UN. And he now called me, I know you are a bit good in computer, so let me teach you how to analyze and how to do that. So I learned that. So eventually, I don't know, it will become an opportunity for me to work with. So I said, okay, let me work for 6 months. A contract job is, 6 months. Once I'm able to gather fund, put it together, pay. Because, once you are married, bills are counting, you can't tell stories. Yes, you can't tell stories. Let me just, before this business survive, we are still at the rough stage because partner struggling, you are still trying to make it understand. So it's not really, so a 6 months, eventually, I found out I love it. They call it a data analyst job. But eventually, I see it was a full supply chain job that requires data analysts. It was so interesting because in university, there's no cost on supply chain. And supply chain, to be sincere, that's where the world is going. And that's the bottom line of every business. Because whatever you do, the value chain you create is supply chain. Because supply chain starts from you knowing the customer need and delivering this customer need. So it was so interesting to me. I love this thing, supply chain. I'm able to learn supply chain end to end. Okay, after 6 months, my boss then, okay, can I extend for another 6 months? It's like a bit interesting for me. So it's not in the money itself now. It's in the value, it's in the interest. that I found in that job. So it happens like that. But the process, let me just pick something within the process, is number one, your being open-hearted, being diligent at your job will give you a whole lot of leverage. See, we look for leverage without looking to building up ourselves, being committed. And I do say this word, if you don't work more than you are being paid for, you can't be paid more than you are working for. So learn to work more than what you are being paid for. So the more you work, I was working night, day, doing it, but they are looking at it. The face, see, it might be a long face. The face kept on and on like that. But definitely, there comes an opportunity. And the opportunity wasn't just an opportunity from bringing a contract to being a manager. And that's how it started. And it's not all about, if you have built your capacity, your talent, and your diligence, just like Mr. Amos said, is not curtailing your taste also matter while you are building, in the process of building wealth, curtailing your taste matter. Because in this process, God is bringing you up, is lifting you up. So the more you work more than you are being paid for, the more you are lifted up. And the promotion started coming. Within the phase of 3 years, I know I was promoted for more than 3 times within the space of 3 years. It has never happened. It has never happened. I know a particular senior role, say, a contract person. You can't go directly into a senior role. It's a process. It's a process. You can't go directly into a senior role. Can you do this? Can you do that? No. But God, because I can't go through that directly, within the space of that 3 years, I was promoted sporadically, within the space of 3 months, because of diligence, because of hard work, because of putting everything in what you're doing. So the bottom line is putting everything in what you are doing. And very soon you see God lifting you up day after day. See, on a daily basis now, I was telling Mr. Henry, see, you can say that fine, employment is not wherever, it's not good. See, there's some money you will get monthly. I've seen it. Monthly earning. Let me just keep quiet. It will happen. You will get it. It will hit your account. It will hit your account. You will shout. Because fine, we can all be entrepreneurs. And also, if you are in that phase of being an employer, we call them intrapreneurs. Intrapreneurs. You can be an employer and you earn big. You can earn big. Not just 1 million, not just 2 million, not just 3 million, not just 5 million. You can earn big. It is happening. It's what can happen to you. And I see God helping us in the name of Jesus.
Wow. Let's celebrate Jesus. Mr. Henry, sorry that I've taken your job from you. Please forgive me. Our time is really fast spent. I don't know what to have after now. But I want TEChurch to lose like a tap water. All right. And if there are places that you can touch quickly that they've not touched, perhaps any other thing. But in my brain, I'm just thinking, how old are you? Because if at 25, poor, 27, $1 million US dollars. I like that $1 million US dollars so much. It's entering my eye. And when I was told that your name is TEChurch, I went to search for you actually. I went on Instagram, went everywhere, and I saw you with all my big people that you are rolling with. I said, okay. So when you came in this morning, I was looking for some cash to drop. TEChurch. Praise God. So tell us your story, sir.
All right, thank you very much, Pastor. Thank you, everyone. I think for me, everyone that I've shared today, I'm a person of patterns. So as they are speaking, I'm also picking patterns from what they are saying, because you can't build your life without a pattern. So all that they are sharing, and what Pastor said here, there is a tendency for you to focus on the end result and say, oh, this person, he has built a school, he has moved into real estate. Yeah. But that is not how your life is going to change. You can't copy his result. You can only copy his process. So his process you can copy, not result. And if you, then you will have your own peculiar result. But you can copy a process, you know. And like my brother as well, you know, he started well. At the beginning, the money was, you know, it was like a movie to me. As I was talking, it's like I'm watching a movie, you know. From leaving school, you enter into a place. And I know it's also like a movie to him as well. But for me, this is how it all started, you know. Because Pastor have said it, there are things I don't say in public. I say it when people pay me like 5 million, 20 million.
Should we go offline? Should we go offline? I can shut down live streaming.
Yeah, if you can shut down
All
live
right,
streaming,
Joshua, please.
I will be mindful so
Joshua,
that I can
please.
talk. You know, so
Because my greatest